Dune Awakening has just had a brand new trailer drop at Summer Games Fest, and if you're familiar with the lore of the franchise, especially the recent movies, the team are taking quite a different path. So, let's look at the trailer and see what's different.
The only peace I find is a future that never happened. One where I, Paul Atreides, was never born. I created the future, until it created me. But I see a narrow way, a path that might have been. What if my mother had obeyed her orders and given birth to a girl? Everything would change. Dr. Yue exposed before his betrayal. A world where my father lives. House Atreides surviving the Battle of Arrakeen. Sardaukar deployed to protect the spice melange. A war of assassins spreading across the planet. Fremen exterminated. No Muad'Dib. No Lisan al-Gaib. No Kwisatz Haderach. All of my visions lead to horror. Except for this one. This one leads to you.
So the most obvious thing is this, of course, is an alternative universe of Dune. Paul's birth never happens, Duke Leto Atreides survives, and the Atreides do not fall to the Harkonnen at the siege of Arrakeen. Instead, the world of Arrakis seems to be embroiled in a war between the Harkonnens and the Atreides over control of the planet and, of course, production of spice melange. The Fremen are also exterminated, and given that Paul Atreides does not exist in this universe, the events that follow the siege of Arrakeen, those that are pivotal in the future of the planet, don't happen, or at least not in the way they did in the movies and the source material. Now, the trailer is told from the point of view of Paul Atreides, so I guess the events of Dune Awakening happen in a vision or a dream. The planet is enraptured in a war, presumably between houses Atreides and Harkonnen, which the trailer names the War of Assassins. As Paul says in the trailer, this alternative timeline means no Kwisatz Haderach, no Lisan al-Gaib, and no Muad'Dib. Lore-wise, the future of what could happen in this alternative universe of Dune seems absolutely wide open. The story of what happens to Arrakis in the regular universe shown in the films and the source material is pretty set in stone, so by taking this alternative approach it seems like anything could happen. By Paul Atreides not even existing in this universe, it seems like the player will have a lot more agency in the world itself, and the timeline of the game seeming to be a good while after the siege of Arrakeen, with such significantly different results, opens up a world of possibilities, seemingly without the player character being a second fiddle to a larger character that is set in stone like Paul. That being said, given that the story of Dune Awakening does indeed take place after the siege of Arrakeen, anything significant in the lore from before that point should remain in place. I think the most obvious thing would be the Butlerian Jihad. It's one of the most important parts of the Dune lore, and I doubt that would be tampered with in any way, especially given that the team really dwelled on staying loyal to the lore in the previous Dune Direct, which, if you haven't seen it, was actually a really good insight towards early development. With houses Harkonnen and Atreides both alive and seemingly at war on Arrakis too, that could lead to some political gameplay. Politics is one of Dune's core themes, and I do hope that's represented well in the game itself, as in-universe politics that a player can actually influence and sway isn't something you see all too often, especially in the survival genre, and I think it's probably one of Dune's core strengths. The whole way the politics works and the intrigue that's written into the source material and the movies too is, at least for me, one of the most interesting parts. To be fair, Dune is probably still quite far away from full release or early access, but there is more information to come. The next Dune Awakening Direct is happening pretty soon, on June 20th, 2024. The last Dune Direct was, as I mentioned earlier, pretty good, so this one coming up should hopefully answer even more questions, and I'm hopeful that we'll get to see some more gameplay too, as that is of course the most important part. Anyway, that about wraps us up for today. A pretty good trailer from the Funcom team that explains some of the groundwork for the story of Dune Awakening, and just on the surface level of what we've been shown thus far, I think the premise of the lore itself is pretty enticing, and for fellow lorehounds will keep it from conflicting with any of the pre-established lore surrounding the events of the films and of course the source material too. Don't forget the next Dune Awakening Direct is coming on June 20th, 2024. I'll be watching it pretty avidly, and assuming there's some good information that comes out of it, I'll probably make some other videos on it too. If you're interested in Dune, you can also of course wishlist the game on Steam. Thank you for watching, and of course a massive thanks to our wonderful, esteemed coffee cultists for continuing to support the channel over on Patreon. Don't forget to drop a like on the video, and make sure you subscribe for more Conan Exiles videos, and hopefully some more Dune Awakening ones too. Take care, and I'll see you soon.